Hello there, Mike Ram here from Personal Development and Weight Loss. Actually, it's Weight Loss and Personal Development. I want to talk to you today about a few misconceptions people have about losing weight and whether they can actually do it. Have you heard any of these reasons? Oh dear, my genes don't let me lose weight. I've got the fat gene. Or, oh, my metabolism is too slow, I can't lose weight. It doesn't allow me to. Or, I've got big bones, of course I can't lose weight. Have any of those things seemed to you to be slightly improbable? Or do you just swallow it? Maybe you felt it yourself. I know I have. You know, I often used to think I had a slow metabolism and that I attribute it to the fact that I was overweight and I felt sluggish in the morning and I didn't digest my food fast enough, so it sort of stayed there and didn't really go through me very fast. Now these reasons, they're sort of catch-alls for a lot of people to not take action on their weight, even though when they may know that they have an alarming problem, you know. I just can't do it. I don't have the right genes. And so on. So think upon this. In fact, I put the metabolical rate theory to the test when I found a weight loss program and started to lose weight. And found I could do it perfectly easily, slow metabolism or otherwise. It didn't make a whit of difference. The weight came off and I lost 81 pounds in the course of about a year. And that's a perfect rate at which to lose weight. That works out at something like 1/5 pounds a week, which is absolutely perfect. And I kept it off. And nothing to do with any sort of metabolical rate got in the way of my doing that. So maybe it's the same for you. Maybe weight can be lost after all, whether you've got a slow metabolism or not. And what about the genes? Well, you may be fat like your parents or your grandparents or siblings and stuff, but have you ever considered this? That actually it's the family eating style that does that? And the same eating traditions carry on through generations often. Sometimes not, because people do break with the diets they've been growing up with, but you know, the whole environment in which you lose weight, or you eat rather, is that conducive to weight loss? You know, is certain practices observed? Is there actually rarely room for healthy eating in the family you grew up in, or is that just another pipe dream? Because very often parents affect their children and so forth. Grandparents affect their grandchildren and stuff. So whilst it may look like it's a genetic problem, it's probably not. It's something else. So again, if you're one of those people who think that your genes prevent you from losing weight, then for God's sake, put it to the test, find a proper weight loss program and follow the regime. See if your genes are anything to do with your weight. And as for the big bones, well, you can take fat off a big boned figure just as easily as off a small boned figure. It's not going to make any difference, you know. You'll still be a large unit if you have big bones. You know, tall or wide, whatever. You know, just the fact that there's less fat on you isn't going to make that much difference to where your structure is, the way your structure is. So don't worry about it. You know, you'll be the same, but they're not preventing you from losing weight, and that's just an old wives' tale. Or maybe you like old wives' tales. I don't know. Old wives' tales get in the way of too much in life. So if you really value your freedom, then you'll put them to the test by adopting scientific principles and following that sort of regime, because science wins pretty well always over old wives' tales, and that's a fact. Now, a lot of things we tell ourselves seem to influence our lives. And I want to talk to you today about another thing we tell ourselves. Well, a lot of things we tell ourselves. Self-talk. We talk to ourselves quite a lot, whether we want to or not. You know, there's sort of perpetual dialogue going on inside of us that influences the lives that we have. And it makes things go according to how we're thinking inside. So if we're saying really negative things to ourselves, then, you know, the chances are they'll just get reinforced by the experience you have. And it's a fact, it's been shown that the thoughts people have tend to be more negative than positive. You know, it's up to 3/4 of a person's thoughts in a day. And they have many, many, many thoughts tend to be negative or not positive. So if you have a problem with this, you know, and you can see by the way you treat yourself, you know, do you call yourself names? Do you pull yourself up a lot? Do you try and run yourself down a lot? Do you make defamatory remarks about yourself to yourself? Do you call yourself an idiot? Do you call yourself a silly person? Anything like that, a wanker, you know, it doesn't matter what. You know, are you generally less than polite to you? Do you treat yourself almost like you wouldn't treat your worst enemy? Because of that, our relationships with ourselves are bound to be bad. You can't possibly have a good relationship with somebody you're slagging off the whole time, because it's not done in a very light-hearted fashion. You know, these bits of self-talk are often quite sharp and supposed to, you know, go in somewhere, bruise us in some way, to pull us up, to make us feel like we haven't done very well. You know, in life we all do try. You know, we're not trying to have a bad time, we're not trying to have a bad life. So, as a favour to yourself, you could just watch your negative self-talk, see what phrases are coming up a lot, see what programs you're playing, see how you react in particular situations, and whether you lay off yourself a bit or you're right in there, you know, leading with the criticism and the negative remarks. You know, it's not cool to be your own worst critic, really. Certainly not to be your own worst enemy. You know, at some point, and if you're going to get on in life, you have to befriend yourself. You have to treat yourself like a worthy human being, and actually tell yourself that you're an okay person, that you actually love yourself. You know, love yourself. You know, I can see that for some people that would be hard, and you have to feel it. You have to feel genuine affection and joy towards yourself, and that way you'll start to lessen the burden of negative self-talk in your life, and you'll see maybe your life just gets a bit better because your relationship with yourself becomes more harmonious. Don't forget, it's terribly important, the things we tell ourselves, whether it's about the reasons why we can't lose weight, or whether it's about how we treat ourselves in the general run of life, and how short and how unpleasant we are to ourselves, or whether we actually treat ourselves with respect and love. Thank you. I hope this is interesting and that it gave you some useful insights. Bye for now.